What's going on, movie lovers? Welcome back to Apocalypse Movies. This is our It spoiler review, the new horror film about Pennywise the Clown. I am Jacob Bartley, and I'm joined by Jake Berlin right here. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Excited to talk some scary-ass dancing clown.
Yeah, so if you didn't know, this is going to be a spoilers review, like the title says. So if you haven't seen the film, come back and watch this review later, or just watch it if you don't care about spoilers. So let's get into this. This is one of the most highly anticipated movies of the year. The trailers have looked amazing.
This movie has caught major fire.
I have no idea what your thoughts are, so why don't you go ahead and tell me right now?
Yeah, so I've been looking forward to this movie, and over the months, as the trailers got released, as kind of word of mouth has gotten released, this movie has just been raising.
Oh, yeah.
Going higher and higher, and the expectations were really, really high. And I would say that it met those expectations.
Damn, that's crazy.
It was exciting, thrilling. It was extremely mysterious. It definitely had those scary horror moments. But there was also a ton of heart to this film.
Yeah,
in more than just one way.
Definitely.
And we're going to get into those. But I really enjoyed it more for just the horror or the scary aspects with Pennywise. The stuff with the kids was phenomenal.
Yeah.
The multiple hidden messages that are inside the movie are even better than, some of recent films that do it. But it's more than what it proceeds to be, and that's what makes it so exciting.
Yeah, it's not just a horror movie.
Yeah.
It's a drama. It's about these characters. You know what I want to do now? I kind of want to read or listen to the audiobook.
I went home and started Googling stuff about the actual book and see how close it was.
I want to know. I heard it's super long.
Yeah.
But I think I will eventually do the audiobook.
Well, when I got home from the movie last night, the TV movie was on, and it was 4.5 hours long.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's technically like 2 parts.
Exactly.
Which we'll talk about maybe a potential sequel later. But I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was really good. My expectations weren't too high. I really loved the trailers, but I try not to get my expectations too high because I had heard a lot of buzz. Like, everybody was talking really positive word of mouth about this movie. And I think it really delivered solidly. I'm surprised how much it wasn't a horror movie and was about these kids and these characters, because there's big chunks of the movie where you don't even see Pennywise.
No, he's in this movie the less out of everyone.
Yeah, pretty much. And which is fine, because when he shows up, it has so much more effect, you know? But I was surprised how less of him was in it, because my memory from the old one was just, I feel like he was in every scene, or I don't remember the characters talking.
It was more about the clown.
It's more about the clown. This one was less and less about the clown and more about the characters, but I have a feeling maybe the sequel will feature more of
We've
Pennywise.
heard things like, we're going to get his origin and where he's from and see his home world and that type of stuff. Yeah.
See, that's the type of stuff I want to know. And not that I need everything explained, but I'm curious, where does this creature come from?
It's an outside dimension.
Really?
He's from an outside dimension, and because this is a spoilers, but the end of the film where we see the clown door drop down, that background, that's an entrance into his home world.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, when he's dancing?
Yeah.
Are you It was all right. So, yeah, like I said, really enjoyed it. So let's get into some spoilers. What are some things that you specifically really enjoyed?
It's the chemistry between the kids.
Yeah,
is the ultimate one.
Yeah.
Every single one of them had such a good moment in the film. They all were there for a specific reason. And none of them were the same character. And I went home and I talked about it with everyone. It's just, each of them brought something different to the film, and they all had a specific reason of being there. The chemistry was unlike something we've seen. It had a very Strangers-esque vibe, Goonies.
Yeah. And it even had a kid from Stranger Things.
Exactly.
And how great was he? He was hilarious.
So, just on a tangent real quick, his character in a lot of film, you'll get tired of that character halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
You'll never get tired of this kid. He just keeps going.
Because it's not just that. There's more to him than that.
And you find that out in the back half of the film.
Too many movies, they have a character like that, and that's all he is. He's
just
one-dimension.
the comedic relief.
At first, I thought that's what they were doing, but once you learn more about that character, you kind of understand why he is the way he is.
Yeah, so ultimately, what made this movie... Pennywise is horrifying. His character is very strong, but for me, the kids made this movie. It's their story. And all of the hidden messages that are within those characters are just made it that much better. Like the abuse with Beverly, the stuttering with Bill, the using the humor as the defense mechanism with Richie, the infection pill stuff with Eddie, Ben being bullied by those kids. I mean, there's so many things going on in this movie. Gabby went with us last night. She actually, in 20 minutes of the movie, she was considering walking out because it was affecting her so much. How those kids were dealing with stuff.
Really?
That's how horrifying.
Not because she was scared, because
she couldn't handle what those kids were going through.
Wow.
That's how crazy. Impactful this film is with those children.
That's crazy. I agree for the most part that the kids and the characters are a big part of this movie, and they are what make it great. I did have a few problems with that. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But for the most part, the main characters, like the main kids that we get introduced to and that the movie's really about, they were great. And especially, I don't know the actor's name from Stranger Things. I love that he's playing such a different character than he does in Stranger Things, because
he's Bill's character in Stranger Things.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, that's awesome that he gets to play this, because you would think, oh, let's cast this kid, let's have him play exactly who he is in Stranger Things. No, that's what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
He's hilarious in this movie, and that dives into one of my main positives, that this movie does not hold back. It's rated R, and it doesn't overly use the rated R stuff, but I love that it's rated R because it's able to go to certain areas. First of all, with the language. Look, kids cuss. That's why I hate like Disney shows and stuff, because in the real world, do you remember being in middle school? We're dropping F-bombs.
We thought it was the coolest thing ever.
So that's realistic, the way they portray that, the way these kids talk. Like,
well, it's not only the F-bombs, but it's like the sex jokes that are going on.
Oh my goodness. How many penis jokes
did
that kid
say? Yeah. All,
he's like, you're lucky we're not measuring dicks. Like, that's hilarious. So that was great. And also, this movie is dark, and it does not hold back several ways. The opening of the movie, I was shocked, because I saw that scene in front of Annabelle. And I'm like, oh, he's going to give him back the boat, and he's just trying to lure him in so he can get all his friends to come. Nope. Pennywise bites his arm off, and he's crawling away, pulls him back into the sewer. He's dead. Like, I couldn't believe it, honestly. Yeah. I was in shock. I was like, I knew
that was coming. I knew that scene was coming, because it's a big part of the book.
I didn't know that.
And people talk about it, and I was like, okay.
So I had no idea about that. So I was completely shocked. I was like, okay.
I was shocked that they opened with that. I knew the scene was coming, but I had no idea the first 5 minutes of the movie.
They are not holding back with this movie. And like, that's great.
And that's exactly what they need to do, is one, show what the film was going to be like.
Yeah.
The tone. But two, they explain the character of Pennywise within 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Because I'm like...
That's who he is.
I was like, oh, he's going to befriend this kid and then lure all the other kids. Straight up bites his arm off. I'm like... And then pulls him into the gutter. I'm like, oh, my goodness. And then... I mean, I'm sure it's all in the novel, but the stuff with Beverly and her dad... Yeah. It was so uncomfortable to watch. But shit like that happens in real life. And it's like... I can't believe they went there. They weren't afraid to go to certain places in this movie, and I really appreciated that, because they didn't hold back. Too many movies hold back. And also just with the violence and with the bully kid murdering his dad, everything was okay. And then Pennywise is terrifying. Like, you see in the trailer, he's very kooky, and he like kind of takes... There's like comedy element to him, but there always was.
He plays that clown in the book, aspect.
In the original TV series, there's a comedy aspect to it. And I feel like the original miniseries was too comedic. Like, I felt like that character was too goofy. This had the perfect combination of terrifying and funny, goofy stuff like that. Like when he's because he's Pennywise the dancing clown. Like, so I'm assuming from his dimension he really was a clown or something like that. I don't know.
I don't want to spoil it for you.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil it for you.
Because you see when she falls in, when she's in his lair or whatever like that, you see like this old rusted thing. It says Pennywise the dancing clown, and then that scene when he's dancing it's funny, but it's also scary. I'm like, what the hell? So they did what they were supposed to do and make this character terrifying. So that's one of the things
every scene that he was in, it wasn't just a horrific scene. There was comedy elements in every scene. Mm-hmm. Even when they were inside that burnt down house and he had Eddie and the kids are going after him, there was a funny aspect to that scene. Mm-hmm. Bill Skarsgård was fantastic as this character.
He was great.
And I think after seeing this movie, now you know the reason why I put him on my Joker list. Mm-hmm. I think he would be so good as the origin Joker. I feel like
he would do a great job.
Yeah.
You know?
So, but Pennywise is definitely one of the strong suits. The comedic element. You had mentioned the bully Henry Bowers. Just a little bit of a tease. He's actually supposed to be in the second half of the book as well. I don't know if that's supposed to be changed.
Technically, we don't know if he died or not.
We don't. I guess in the book, he actually plays a massive role throughout the entire film, or the book, I should say.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting to see how that portrays. But yeah, I mean, as far as positives go, it's kind of endless with this movie. And there's so many.
Yeah, we could talk about it.
There's
for
so many
30
good
more.
parts in. Probably my favorite character of the movie is Beverly. I really enjoyed her character. She was. Ultimately, she was kind of the heart of the Losers Club.
She was very damaged, but she was arguably, other than Bill, maybe the bravest.
She brought something different to that club when she stepped in.
Like that, when they're like, "Who wants to stay out here?" and all the boys raise their hand and she doesn't. Yeah. I kind of like didn't. I wasn't sure. You know when somebody comes in and like stabs Pennywise in the face, was that her?
She stabbed it with the stake. Yeah,
that was her. Okay, I thought it was her or the Jewish kid, but it was her, right?
Yeah, she has no fear, and that's why.
Well, that's why he couldn't kill her
at the end of the film. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's awesome. I mean, she's dealt with horrible shit her whole life, so it's like, why would this clown scare her?
Yeah. Well, and just on another tangent, but that quarry scene when she first shows up with the Losers Club, and they're jumping in the water, and they all stare at her, and they're like hilarious. Just like glazed over at her in her bikini.
As a kid, like that's what you do when you're a kid.
Yeah.
It was pretty much solid all the way through. Let's maybe talk about some things that didn't work. I have a few, honestly. For me, while the main characters were very heavily focused on, like Bill, I don't know all the characters' names, but I feel like because there was like 6 or 7 kids in the group.
There's 7 losers. Yeah.
Okay, so the top 4 got a lot of character development and screen time and all that stuff, but I feel like they didn't develop all of the kids that much. I feel like the African American kid didn't get enough character development. I feel like the Jewish kid didn't get enough character development.
Stanley.
And then they set up the chubby kid very well, but then by the end of the movie, the middle to the end, I feel like he was kind of shorthanded. So I understand there's a lot of characters. It's kind of like Suicide Squad. You can only focus on so many of the characters. But I did feel like the back end characters of the losers didn't get enough character development. I wasn't really attached to those characters. Like I didn't really care if the kid died who was getting his face sucked on.
Stanley.
Like I didn't care that much. Yeah. If Bill died or Beverly died or the kid from Stranger Things died, I would have been upset. But I didn't really care about the other kids.
Stanley, the Jewish kid, he was definitely the most expendable kid.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I hated seeing it because you don't want to see any kind of kid in that situation.
Yeah.
It's still hard to watch, but I understand the fact, like, that kid, if anybody has to die, it's going to be that kid.
Yeah. I'm sure they stuck true to the book, but I was expecting one of them to die. But it makes sense that they didn't. I mean, maybe in the second part, who knows?
I haven't read the book, but I know that if they follow suit of the novel, it will all pay off.
Okay, we'll find out. Another thing, now look, I don't know the mythology of the It creature. So, for some of you out there, I might sound dumb for saying this, but for me, I feel like if Pennywise is like basically like a sorcerer to us, you know? Like if maybe he's literally not a sorcerer, but to us, what
powers.
He can do,
he has powers.
We could call him a sorcerer, right? So I know they have to be scared of him for him to have power over them. But I'm like, come on. If he really wanted to, he could take out all these kids in 2 seconds and murder them all. And he's like having trouble fighting them, like seriously.
Well, they were all stronger together, and he couldn't feed off of their fear.
I understand that, but for what he can do, I know this is like I gotta suspend my belief a little bit for all movies, but I was just like, oh, come on! I wish they would have done a better job of showing how all these kids can take him on. And I understand. They have to be scared, and together they were stronger, and Beverly wasn't scared, Bill wasn't scared. I understand that, but I just feel like when he's like trying to stab them, I don't know what he creates lobster claws or something like that. Like I feel like he could have easily killed a couple of them, but maybe I misunderstood because I don't know the mythology and the character and all the backstory and all. But those are my two major negatives.
The one for me that the only one I want to talk about is I wish there not only was a little bit more Pennywise, but a little bit more backstory on him.
That's true. You're right.
I wish there was, and I understand they're saving it for the next movie to kind of like just flush it all out. But I wanted a little bit more because they tease it like with the claws that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, how did that happen? They're kind of banking on the people reading the book and knowing the mythology to kind of understand that sequence.
Exactly.
But a lot of audience members who have seen this movie, they're not alive when this book came out. Like, this book came out a long time ago, and they just haven't gotten around to it. So for us, we're like, okay, how the hell did that really happen?
That's true, yeah.
I understand that it'll pay off in the chapter 2 or whatever, but I wish that there would have just been at least a little bit towards the end of this movie.
Cool. Well, yeah. Well, you saw at the end how it said it, and then it said chapter 1, and everyone started because we know when the second one's coming, but casual movie-going audiences didn't know, and everybody started going crazy. You're like, oh yeah. So I'm so excited for the possibility of the sequel because, first of all, who's going to play the adult versions of these kids? There's some great casting opportunities there.
So what's funny is Collider, the kids came into the studio, they interviewed him. The kids casted themselves.
Oh, really?
It would be so badass if they casted that cast because Bill chose Christian Bale.
What?
Ben chose Chris Pratt.
Oh, wow.
Beverly chose Jessica Chastain. Richie chose Bill Hader.
What?
And that. Imagine that cast in a knit sequel.
That would be amazing.
That'd be awesome.
And I think this movie being so great gives them a better chance of getting somebody like Christian
one
Bale,
or two big names to lead it.
Exactly. And I think it's going to be a mixture of lesser knowns and like one or two like Jessica Chastain.
Keep it just like this movie because a lot of these kids we've never seen them before other than the Stranger Things kids.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So yeah, overall thoughts and maybe a score out of 10.
Yeah. A complete success. One of the better horror movies of recent memory for sure. But it's not just a horror movie. It's got multiple layers and it tells a true story. Something that at times is definitely hard to watch, but it's definitely something that needed to be filmed and be out there. Off the top of my head, I don't know the director's name, but he did a fantastic job. I cannot wait for a sequel to kind of flesh this entire story out and see the book really come to life. Definitely, go see this movie, support this movie. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Nice. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it's really good. This keeps happening, like, every time as we're reviewing a movie, I start realizing how much I really like the film.
Give it another 10, Jacob.
I know, no way. I really liked it, but those negatives really bothered me throughout the movie. But it's amazing. It's an accomplishment in film. It really is. It's one of the better movies of the year.
Definitely.
It's one of the best horror movies of the year. It's so unique and creepy. Can you imagine if, let's say, nobody ever heard of it, like it was a smaller Stephen King novel and there was never the TV miniseries and this movie just came out without anyone knowing what it was, then I feel like it would have been a bigger hit because it would have been so shocking. So yeah, it definitely delivers on multiple angles. I'm going to go ahead and give it an 8 out of 10 as well. That was my score.
Nice.
Alright, well that's going to do it for our spoilers review of It. Please let us know what you thought of the film or what you're looking forward to in the comment section. I am Jacob Bartley again. You can find me on Twitter at @JacobBartley_. Thank you, Jake, for joining me. Where can they find you?
Jake Berlin at Qui-Gon Jake at Twitter and Instagram, apocalypsemovies.com every day, and this YouTube channel every week.
Yeah, and always thank you all for watching. Please subscribe if you like all things film. Until next time, take care.